Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it looks like San Diego Comic-Con is kind of screwed this year.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about some of the weirdness around Comic-Con too. And yeah, you know, I kind of wondered how this was gonna go because we had so many studios pull out before the strikes. Now with the strikes, they're not even gonna bother showing up. They're not going to bother showing up.
Yeah, because they can't bring the actors. What's the point?
What is the point of... Actually, that's the thing. What is the point of San Diego Comic-Con? We don't really focus on comic books. We don't have the movie people there now.
Because the movie people are paying for everything.
Yeah, so I mean, people are hopeful that it's going to go back to being just an actual Comic-Con, but I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think it's too big and bloated right now that's probably not going to happen.
They never. And even the ones that started out as like a fun show about toys or whatever, now it's just like celebrity overload, which is interesting because people are asking, like, I know, for example, Steel City Con, they said, well, now that the actors are on strike, does that mean you're like going to be not having these panels or actors coming? And they said, no, actors keep asking to come now since they might be out of work for a while. And I was like, are they allowed to do that?
There's probably some loophole. I don't know, but it might be that like the studios can't bring them in, but they can go on by themselves. Because I know when they had the writers' strike, you know, in 2008, 2007, 2008, a lot of those writers actually went and created YouTube channels and stuff like that. You know, but now they'd probably be like, oh, it's a conflict of interest, can't do it. But anyway, let's talk about this. We're going to talk about the state of Comic-Con. We're going to talk about how it could potentially be looking at a future like E3. E3 shut down because it didn't have enough interest from the gaming publishers anymore, because, you know, Nintendo and you know, Xbox and Sony, they're all kind of doing their own thing now.
Yeah, they get all the attention. Like, you're not sharing attention with your competitor. It's all on you. That's your time, and it's all on you, and everybody sees it. You're not limited to who can go into that hall.
Right,
you know?
right, and that could be the future of comic conventions. I think there always will be an in-person element, but we've talked about before, we don't need as many as we've had.
I like toy shows.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Steel City was a toy show. I used to love to go to Steel City to look for toys. Now I'm afraid to go because it's so crowded you can't even walk.
It is a celebrity petting zoo right now. It's so bad.
Comic-Con's still a toy show?
Yeah, please keep it a toy show. Please keep it a toy show. We need actual shows about hobbies that are actually about the people involved in those hobbies, not, you know,
not some celebrity who just got hired to play this role.
Yeah, I like toys. I get to be a guest at your toy show.
They made a toy of me once.
They made an action figure of me back in 1992. It's worth a lot of money now. Yeah, I'll sign it for you for $200. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo! You
get a double woohoo if you run a toy show, I guess, without celebrities.
That has Jem and She-Ra and, you know,
brushable hair.
And yes, brushable hair and G.I. Joe and all the things we love. My Little Pony.
So let's talk about this here. Yeah, so this is not good news for Comic-Con, which has become a celebrity petting zoo in recent years. With the double strike, Comic-Con goes back to basics. Dune's departing, the latest on who in Hollywood is skipping the trip to San Diego this July, and what pivots are being made with actors and writers away from the cosplaying fray on the picket lines.
Oh, okay.
It's so dramatic. It's so dramatic. So talk about the strike. They said this year marks the first time since 2011 that at least one of the two biggest comic to film franchises, Marvel and DC, won't be holding court in Hall H. This is obviously an unusual year, says Comic-Con spokesperson David Glanzer, but that hasn't diminished the anticipation for Comic-Con.
Yeah, it has.
Badges sold out months ahead of the event when they thought
they were going to get stuff.
Celebrities were coming. Hall H stops from Marvel or DC have generated the biggest headlines. Only a small portion of the estimated 150,000 attendees ever set foot in the space.
That is true, because you can't get in.
Yeah.
Some people park it in there and you can't get in.
In other words, plenty of the faithful go for smaller panels and a chance to show off their cosplay.
Yeah, that is true. Some of the cosplays are amazing.
Ironically, a lot of the biggest comic book vendors no longer go to the show. I think it was Mile High Comics. A couple of years ago, they decided they weren't even going to do Comic-Con anymore because it wasn't worth it because nobody was buying comic books.
Well, that's the problem too. Like if you're a vendor, I was saying if you're a vendor, an Artist Alley person, the prices sometimes, well, Artist Alley not so much for San Diego, but the prices are so high, you just have to stop going because you can't afford it.
Yeah, so they're gonna do a panel for Rick and Morty and Roiland's not expected.
Oh, shocker. I'm sure they made sure of that.
So some of these panels might have gotten modest. These are the smaller panels. We're talking about a lot of different shows and stuff like that. And they're like, some of the panels might have gotten modest attention in years past, but now they have a chance to break through this year, including films not made by companies that are part of the SAG-AFTRA agreement.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Notes one actor filmmaker who is bringing footage from a new film amid this year's unusual landscape. I might as well go all out. That actually is kind of true. I think what's going to happen with Hollywood and open out from so many things is we're going to have more opportunities for independent content creators.
Right, now's your chance. Now's your chance, so take it.
Unless you're Eric July.
Yeah, that's absolute shit.
Unless you're Eric July, you're not allowed to go to Comic-Con. No, actually, Eric July is going to Comic-Con, and I keep seeing these tweets pop up. I don't know Eric. I've never talked to him, but I keep seeing tweets pop up in my timeline that he said he's going to Comic-Con, and all these crazies are trying to get him canceled from Comic-Con. You can't come. Why? You can't come because something alt-right, something comic isn't as good as I think it should be. I don't know.
There's a white supremacy.
Well, that's probably
internalized, of course.
Internalized white supremacy. Yes, there are an awful lot of white people that don't want Eric July to show up in their space. You're not allowed to show up.
And they're always yelling about everybody else being a bigot, but then they're like, acting like a bigot. But yeah.
Yeah. So it's just crazy. He's not being invited as a guest. He's going to the CGC booth, which is the comics grading, they grade comics, and he's going to be assigned and they're going to grade his comic. His comic that doesn't exist, that one, they're going to do something there, but they're trying really hard to keep him out. So now I almost feel like normally at Comic-Con, we wouldn't have paid much attention to the right or wrong kind of people being at the comic convention. But now that we have to think about comics, because all the celebrities are noping out. Now we're going to pay all kinds of attention to who's coming to Comic-Con.
I just don't understand it. It's like, so what?
So what?
Just let them, if they want to bring them in, then let them bring them in. I mean, don't go to that booth. Well, somebody always tell us, well, if you don't want to watch that show or you don't like those actors, it's not for you then. Don't watch it then. Just don't watch it and move on. These are the same people, the people who say that are also the same people who are like, oh my God, I'm going to protest you, remove that person. Well, then just don't go there then.
Well, they tried to destroy that one con over Vic Mignogna. How dare a handful of anime cons in like Texas or whatever, or Florida, bring in Vic Mignogna, because they want him canceled completely. That's the thing. Like if these Twitter stands decide, and look, some of it's Twitter stands, some of it are other professionals in the industry. They decide this person needs to be ousted from their industry.
He makes money and they don't.
Pretty much.
I mean,
the weird thing is, and I was talking about this with somebody the other day, like, this kind of attitude happened on some level to the early Image founders. Mm-hmm. Now we didn't get politics intermingled in it. It was just
about jealousy about money.
It was just about jealousy about money, because I remember Peter David calling out Todd McFarlane before. That was a whole big thing. Wizard Magazine covered it, but I don't remember it ever getting to the point where it was like, do not invite so-and-so to this convention because they're bad for our industry. Todd McFarlane giving people funny ideas about striking out on their own and making their own comic books. It's bad for our industry. It makes us look bad.
We can't control you. We can't
control Todd McFarlane.
We can't decide who gets to be in and who doesn't.
But they tried. I remember there were all kinds of, and this is before the internet, but there were all kinds of shenanigans going on with Marvel and DC people trying to destroy Image Comics, and I'm sure if the internet existed back then, it would have been a shit show. There would have been like, well, they tried to get them pulled from Diamond, and they tried to get them pulled. They called up a bunch of comic shops and tried to get them to not carry their books.
Mm-hmm. And they got their deal pulled away.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
A few years ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was just a couple of years ago.
Okay, well, I mean, if they want to bring them in, and it's not violating any rules, then sit and spin, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, that's what you were telling me about. I'm like, wait, what?
This could explain some of it. So I had a friend, I'm not going to say who, had a friend send this over. And this is how you find... This is how you find the people you're looking for at Comic-Con because it's so big.
By identity politics.
By identity politics. And my understanding is I don't know if this has happened before. I mean, I haven't been to San Diego in like years, but... They're letting you filter tables by identity politics. So okay, you're looking for art books, cool. You're looking at the floor, cool. You're looking for the exhibitor, so you can go down a different exhibitor. Then okay, we want BIPOC people only, and we can
pick your flavor of BIPOC.
Flavor of BIPOC and flavor of LGBTQ plus.
Oh my God.
So you're looking for bisexual Pacific Islanders who create art books. Where would I find that at San Diego Comic-Con?
Can I search by who has bear fucking?
I want to know where are all the bear fuckers at San Diego, please? I need to know. And is there an after hours party that we can go to? I'll wear my fursuit.
Is there a category for that?
Is there a category for that? So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's
There's not disability categories. Like I want to see a category from exhibitor who has a character in a wheelchair who happens to be Asian and Asian. Lesbian. I don't know.
I am Asian adjacent because I like anime or something. I don't know.
I don't think it works that way.
It doesn't work that well. I mean, might as well the way some of these people on Twitter are. It's just like, what the hell? So yeah, I don't know, guys. I think we are looking at. Everybody's trying to be all cheery, like I think it's going to go back to being about comics.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to go back to being about comics. I think what's going to happen.
That's implying it survives.
Yes.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive. And again, looking at E3, when the big studios pulled out,
everybody was screwed.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, right. It's the opposite of what's supposed to happen. But it's basically game over at that point because why are people going to go? And I think a lot of people bought their tickets thinking, oh, all the new Marvel announcements and all the new DC announcements.
And people want their money back because they're going to be like, well, we're not getting what we wanted. We're not getting what we thought we were paying for when we bought the tickets, which could cause them a problem. But I think if this had been another time, it might not be such a big deal. But it's coming off of the pandemic where it just came back and it hasn't come back. And when it did come back, they were like putting mandates in their vaccine mandates, mask mandates, which took people out, but they didn't come back because they didn't want to, they, for whatever reason, didn't want to do those things, which is their choice. And then it goes down to now where, it could be their first mainstream major year and they lost almost all the panels they were going to have. And they can't keep just like going on fumes. Eventually they're going to run out of money.
Yeah, because that's the thing. These studios bring the money and they bankroll. And the problem is it's like you can't downgrade. When you grow your event to this size, it takes massive amounts of money to keep it going.
Right. And if they've had years and year after year of not being able to open or being, throttled, you don't have all the money you need. You can't keep going on where you keep losing.
Yeah. So I don't know what the future is going to look like. I mean, eventually, and then we've got the writer's strike. So what movies are we going to have to announce, in the next couple of years? Not much.
And they're doing exclusives, but I don't think they're doing exclusives like they used to do.
The toys.
Well, not that you don't have to be there to get them.
Yeah. So that's another thing that's changed. Actually, the internet has broken a lot of the convention norms. Like other than being there in person, getting to meet people in person, that's cool. Get to do your cosplay. Okay, that's cool. But a lot of the what used to or what would have been like San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, a lot of sites are doing it just through their websites right now.
Yep.
Their crowdfund, like HasLab, all that stuff at HasLab, that probably would have been considered a San Diego exclusive 10 years ago.
Monster High is doing theirs, going to be on their site.
Yeah.
They're just going to, and
Super 7, they do the same thing. They basically crowdfund on their site and they're basically having Comic-Con all year round. Mm-hmm. People are selling comic books.
Well, specifically, San Diego Comic-Con exclusives are being sold online. You don't have to even go to the event anymore.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know. Long term, I don't think it's got a very bright future. If even E3 can crater, I don't think that long term San Diego Comic-Con is going to be sustainable. And you can't go back to making it about comics because not enough people care about the mainstream comic book industry. So. Just my opinion.
I'm just bummed because there's some San Diego ones that they used to have exclusives that I wish I had got for Pinky Boo. Like they had a couple different Monster High sets. Like they had one with Rebecca Steam and her dad, and they had the one like with the Ghostbusters one, and they had one that was like an archaeology set and Voltages, and I missed them all.
Well, if we've got people going to Comic-Con and they want to pick up...
No, the new one. No, that was from years past. They're gone. This year is available on the Mattel. It's going to be on
why bother?
Right. Exactly. I'm talking about the ones like you had to go to get and I missed. I'm like, I'll have to find them at some point. But but those are the ones that are worth the most a lot of times because just for Monster High, I'm sure for other toy lines because they were limited.
Well, yeah,
they're not limited.
And how much did you have to pay just to?
But everybody can get.
Yeah, how much did you have to pay just to get in the door to get the toy? So the toy's already overpriced. Then you have to wait in line. That was like New York Comic Con. I used to get exclusives and stuff up there, and you'd wait in line forever.
Right? Yeah.
A freaking $100 action figure or some crap. That you had to pay to get in. You had to pay for your travel and
so people
hotel.
Sell them, but I'm like, I can't blame them because they're probably just offsetting their costs.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, now the new stuff. If you can just go get it online, it's not going to hold its value. Like the other stuff did. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's because I like toys. I'm talking toys.
All right, so let's wrap this one up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.